can see the yellow.
Oh, it's nice and cool in here.
It is. More live, please start.
Great, thank you. Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the Town of East Hampton Architectural Review Board meeting of today's date, which is August 26, 2021. I'd like to open the meeting with the approval for the minutes from our last meeting, which was August 12, 2021. Can I get a second on the minutes? Esperanza, second. All in favor, Chip and Jonathan?
All right, yes.
Great, thank you. Okay, so the first item on the agenda is under agricultural overlay. 30 WM LLC tax map number 300-200-2-35, 30 Wayne Scott, Maine, Wayne. Can you state your name for the record?
Hi, it's Melissa Dedovich, Bacani Environmental Associates.
Right. Melissa, can you spell your last name for the?
D as in David, E, D as in David, O, V as in Victor, I-C-H.
Yeah. D-E-D-O-V-I-C-H.
Correct. And I'm joined by Melissa Rivas.
R-E-V-I-S?
R-E-A-V-I-S. From Hollander Landscape Design. They're both Melissa, so you'll get an answer.
Melissa D and Melissa R.
There you go.
We're going to start with Esperanza reading into what the application is for. Okay.
The application is for construction, generator, outdoor kitchen, and fire pit, exterior lighting associated with single-family dwelling approved by ARB on February 11, 2021. Legalization of existing 4-foot and 6-foot fences on property.
Do you want Kyle to pull anything up on the small board to start?
Let's just start with the generator, outdoor kitchen, and fire pit, and the order that it's in on the application, maybe. So it's fairly straightforward. The outdoor fire pit, outdoor kitchen area are both going to be located in the rear yard. The fire pit's going to be, they're rendering, so these would be helpful. The generator is going to be actually where that tree is between the garage and the residence.
In place of the tree or near the tree?
No, sort of tucked behind.
It's on the survey.
Yeah, it's on the survey. It was a little less clear to me on the survey, but yeah. Okay, yeah.
It's tucked in.
Just behind the tree then. Okay. And then if you could go on to the next. Keep going, please. Okay, so this is the backyard. And
This is all under construction, correct?
I think you're currently. Yeah. And so on the left side, there's a screened-in porch, and just in front of that is the proposed fire pit. And then on the right is the proposed outdoor kitchen area, which includes a barbecue and a pizza oven. You can keep going. There's the close-up of the proposed fire pit and the kitchen area. And I'll just draw your attention also to the lighting, which are these barn lamps.
So this house was all approved, correct?
The house was all approved. We hadn't approved all the lighting.
Okay.
So I wasn't clear from the application because it was a little bit run-on sentence that we were also then supposed, to be looking at the proposed lighting.
Is that on the application?
It is.
Okay.
Yeah,
I see exterior lighting session.
Is this just Colis's?
No, it's next door.
It's next door.
The board was kind enough to let us continue with our building permit and come back with the specifications. For
Yeah,
the
I
lighting.
remember. Yep.
So that's the only type of light fixture that you'll be.
No, there are these barn lamps, and then not on these renderings, rather on the larger plans.
They're all outlined.
There are specs,
Okay.
yeah, and the plans for the other lights, which are, I don't know, I don't think we have them digitally. Do we have that digitally, this big?
I believe so, yeah.
Yes? Oh, okay, great, because that would be much easier.
The plans, correct?
Correct.
Yes.
Yep, right here.
Okay, so there they are. There are these little Lucifer.
Terrible name, yeah.
Little hi-hat spots, and then the barn lamps, and then these I think these antique sort of sconces are on either side of the main entrance, and that's the only place. And then the garden lighting, the little copper ones. And so if you go, I think, to the next sheet, or even on that one, actually, sorry, it's on this one. It's all indicated, which it's hard to see if you don't zoom in, where all of these are going to be located. So essentially, for instance, all the little garden lights are along the alley where the outdoor dining area is, along the parking area, the two sconces on either side of the front entry, which is at the end of that entryway pathway, and then the different barn lights, as we've seen on the renderings.
And the generator is just a traditional, what's the size on it?
Yeah, did we have specs for that?
Yes, 60 kW Kohler generator.
I believe the specs are called out, too.
Or the specs?
Are the specs included in here? I
Yeah.
No, right?
We will need a tear sheet or a cut sheet from the manufacturer. And what's the size of it? The square, you know?
Do you have the dimensions?
I do not, so we'll get you that spec sheet with the dimensions.
It's a Kohler.
Yes, it's a Kohler 60 kW.
Okay, I think that's all for the modification to the original proposed residence. Does anybody have any questions? And then there was the fencing then. So I guess you need to look at the survey.
Yeah, let's take it. I didn't get a chance to look at this survey.
Just a note for the board, too, it is existing fencing, so it's been there, it's in the hedge, and you'll see that on the survey.
What type of fencing is it?
It's a 4-foot fence on the west side and in the front, yes?
No, on the west side, the front, and on the side, it's 6 foot,
I'm sorry,
on the road.
on the road is 6 feet?
We weren't even sure about that. That's why the board asked us at the last meeting. We're like, we're not sure. We never went, and it wasn't on the Saski's plan, but if you see it's a 6
Oh.
foot and 6 foot along.
I see it on the east side. Oh, yes.
So the side, so it's along the front and then it's on this side?
Yeah,
Correct.
it is 6 feet.
And what type of fencing is it?
Deer fencing.
With metal posts.
And the back doesn't
And
have, because
it's metal deer fencing or is it plastic?
Metal.
Are you able to see it?
I haven't seen it, it's really tucked in
No,
that.
it's in the middle. We just went over to inspect it, and I was like, right, you had to go
Yeah, you kind of
in.
pull it apart.
And then on the opposite side is 4 foot high deer fencing or is it wood
On
fence?
the west side,
Yeah.
it's
It's mesh fencing
Yes,
also.
it's the
the
same.
only thing that I've noticed on that side is that it's that side of the property.
It's actually on the neighbor's property. It goes up to match their wood fence in the front.
Well, it's 4 feet, so it's not something that we would have to approve or ask them to remove. And then is there fencing in the back plane of the property?
To the other property.
There's a relationship there.
So that's all. I don't think we have the pictures that I took in the past. I mean, there's no reason to go through them, so.
Now, how are you feeling about this, all this 6 foot fencing in the front? See it?
You don't see it.
I don't have any questions. Gentlemen?
No. I think it's a very attractive project.
It is, this is really, I mean, there's no official Wayscott Historic District, but this is kind of tucked in there.
It would fit as a modern building in a historic district, definitely.
Yes. So I think that's, thank you for making that point. I agree with that. So I make a motion to approve the application as submitted.
Can I get a second, Jonathan?
Second,
All in favor, Chip?
yes.
And Betsy, yes. All right, good. Good luck.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for coming. Change to commercial M again, is in Department Court Tax Map number 300-190-2-16.2 Bluff Road in Amagansett. Hi, Lori. Hello. Jonathan, if you could read into the record what this is
Sure.
for, please.
There are two existing double gates that will be replaced to match the existing fence design. 180 and 184 feet, lineal feet of proposed 6-foot fencing to be replaced along the front of the building and behind proposed hedges. Proposed hedges are false holly, roughly 4 feet tall at planting, maintaining 6 feet in height. Please see attached photos of proposed fencing and landscaping.
Yeah, so let's go through the pictures. Kyle, thank you that Lori submitted. You didn't submit it.
I did, yeah,
You did or you didn't?
I did.
I did.
All right, that's on mine. This is the western fence. The eastern fence is the same. You'll see that. That is a existing privet, which is pretty loose with leaves below the top, and you know you see blank, but what you're seeing is the back of a old stockade fence that they want to take out. The idea, I believe, is that there's a lot of little apartments along the roadside of the building that has a doorway out into a little deck, terrace or something, and they want to have a nice fence at that, you know, for the guests in the hotel. We will never see the fence after the hedge grows up above the 4 feet.
6 feet.
No, so the top height, the proposed top of the hedge is 6 feet, but the original plant going in is 4 feet.
And I can make a note that I actually put false holly at my place at the beginning of the summer, and it's already flashing.
All right, well, there you go. Yeah,
Right,
sure.
but I just want to be clear, but the gates and the fencing are 6 feet.
Exactly.
Correct.
And this is the front parking lot that faces, so
road.
your back is to Bluff Road. Okay.
Yes.
Right. Let's go to the next ones. This is the eastern gate. That on the left is a building that's covered by these trees, and the fence goes to the right. Let's go to the next one. That building is attached to a bicycle shed of some sort right there. That fence the gate will be new. The bicycle shed will stay like it is. And can you bring that closer to us? Make that larger. See, there's a fence on the second floor, a new fence. That is a lattice fence. And when we see the picture of the proposed fence, you'll see that the top, 12 or 18 inches is that same lattice. So we could see what the new proposed fence is.
I'm just curious about those white picket fence on the bottom left, the first floor. What's that about?
It's like a
We see-
screen along the hall,
For a hallway?
There it is, all right. So this is the proposed fence,
Mm-hmm.
and 6 feet, I guess the fence or the posts are 6 feet, which is gonna be 6 feet.
Is it gonna be planted on the other side as well, or just facing the road?
I'm only aware of them planting on the roadside.
So the person's inside will just be seeing
We'll
this
just see the
wall of
fence.
fence?
Yeah.
Which at least will be a nice looking fence.
I
instead of-
understand, but
Yeah,
it's,
but see, this is the public face on both sides,
Mhm.
whereas this ladder,
no,
the.
no, I get that.
Okay.
Well, I guess the point being too is that, they could always put plantings themselves.
No, yeah, just to soften it up, it's
So
just,
that, so obviously it's a screening.
It's not a very big distance off the building, you kind of need to have as much space for chairs as you want, and you got light coming in over it and through it, so.
Was there anything else, Jonathan?
and, sorry, and the gates are going to look like this as well?
Yes.
So it would be a flat rather than the curb.
Yeah,
Yeah.
now, why don't we go back to the facade, see what Betsy was talking about? Sure. Get a little closer. All right, so you mean the white fence on the left and right, or the?
Yeah, it
I
looks
believe
like,
it-
it
I-
looks to the left, you know, facing to the left, it looks like it's wood, and then there looks like there's a, you know, it's painted white, but that could also be the lighting and the sunlight. Do you know?
On the ground level or up
Yeah, the
above?
ground
Just
level.
I think that's gonna be replaced.
Correct.
That's gonna be replaced.
Oh,
with
so
this-
you're replacing that,
It's
with this-
184 feet
okay.
long
So with this, the same.
with this design. Yeah, it's a continuous fence.
Oh.
You see, it's very short distance off the
Why
building
do they
itself.
need a fence there?
Privacy. Privacy for the people that are renting
Those
their
are,
units.
those are little units.
And headlights, because you've got all those cars
Yeah, yeah,
parking
yeah, yeah, yeah.
at night usually. So they did it in such a way that light will come from above, but you can block the cars.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's nice.
Yep.
Yeah, so I think it's a nice choice for that.
With all the lattice work.
On top, you mean?
Yeah, and then the other.
Oh, I am
top.
not talking about what we're not approving, we're just talking about our expense, right?
Correct.
Right,
Yeah.
yeah, so if I'm understanding correctly, so that, underneath the awning
Yeah, underneath the.
Correct.
is going to be this solid, vertical boards with the lattice on top.
Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah.
So that will be there,
Yes.
and then you've got more of that lattice on the upper level.
That's existing.
That's a railing.
No, I understand that,
Yeah,
I'm just trying to picture how that will look,
Mhm.
and
Yeah,
it's a little visually.
oh, yeah, well, a double row, I mean, but that's, that's not what we're approving, I think.
Yeah, but we're taking it into consideration.
Yeah.
The whole context.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I think it's fine,
It's a very tough building to start with, to make it attractive. I mean, I think she's done the best job she could possibly do.
How tall is the fencing on the first floor now?
It's 6 feet.
It's existing.
6 feet stockade.
So it probably, Esperanza won't present as solid, because that does have the open lattice on the top, you know?
Yeah, I'm just thinking how visually, it's just gonna be lots of little squares.
Just-
Close to
I think the problem is there's a 100-car parking lot
Yeah.
right in front of the building.
I understand all of that, we still have to look at
You know,
the aesthetic and what might be a better
when you're
solution.
actually there, you will only see the first floor. You don't see up above because there's nothing happening up there. You're trying to figure out where you're going. And, it's true. I mean,
So if you walk by fast enough, you won't see this, is what you're saying. Okay,
but I'm curious though, there's only one floor up above the awning, or is there two
Would you
floors
feel
there?
more-
So in some instances, they've gotten state permits to convert the attic space to living space.
Yeah, I know, but what they did was they put another lattice fence on top of an existing lattice fence
Correct.
for some reason.
I think it's the same screening effect of the parking lot.
It's a 2-story building essentially.
Yeah,
Correct,
yeah,
with
right.
with attic
It was
space.
a motel, I think.
so I guess what I'm
It's a
saying,
condo.
But it was a motel, I think, early on.
I guess what I'm saying is, and I know we're not dealing with the second floor, but if the second floor already had solid.
Did we
then
approve
lattice- Well, that was another question, I don't know.
I don't recall approving. How long has that been there?
Well, the
I
upper
don't know the
part is
answer to
new.
that. That wasn't part of what they brought to us.
You find out
Of
if that's
course.
ARB approval?
Because we could redesign it for you.
Okay, Lori? We'll need to know that.
Okay. What would you suggest that they do? I mean, is it
I
something?
just said, no, all I said was that I wanted to know if they have ARB approval for that lattice, those double lattice panels that they installed. You know, it's possible it's been there for 10 years. I don't know, I'm just asking.
Yeah, I don't know the answer myself.
It's new.
Mhm. All right, I can find out.
So do you think it would be?
Well, the other thing is that, I'm in agreement with Esperanza. You know, this is right on Bluff Road. If this was just a matter of replacing the old gates, you know, with something new and it met, the lattice matches and but like in that front entryway, which is very visible, I'm glad that the sort of picket-like, stockade fence is going away, but I would be reluctant to approve something that I can't visualize in the context of the whole area with what's going on up on the second floor as well. So Esperanza and I just, quickly said, if I asked her if she would feel more comfortable if we asked for a photorealistic rendering of what that's going to look like, as opposed to approving something and then all of a sudden it's, it's an eyesore. I'm not suggesting it will be, but I think to do the extra work would be, I would feel more comfortable with going forward.
Because what I'm visualizing is not good.
Okay.
Well,
I'm not visualizing because I don't know what it's going to look like.
the post fences, I think, are fine.
Yes.
What's a problem is that the double-decker fence up above, which is weird looking.
Yes.
I didn't know it was 1 or 2 stories,
Would you prefer that they put the same type fence, replace that with the same type?
That'd be
fence?
wood.
No, now we're talking that at all.
Okay.
So if we could have a visual of what it's going to look like,
Mhm.
I'm sure it will be fine. It might be an improvement to that because there's a whole disconnect with what's going on.
I think the key question is, was it already approved by the ARB?
Mhm.
Yeah,
And then if it
that's
wasn't, then you can discuss it.
Mhm.
right. But we can still see a rendering of what the first floor is going to look
I actually don't have a picture of this particular thing. You must have taken this.
I did, yeah.
Can someone forward that to my office so I can, thank you, Kyle will take care of it. Then I can ask the clients and show them what we're talking about.
like. 1 second, Lori.
Yeah.
So that, and then 2 is second story. Okay. Anything else on this? But I do have something else I want to talk to Lori about with regards to this building or this property. Chip, anything? Jonathan,
No.
you finished? Okay. So I didn't get a chance to go back and look, but fairly recently, I was going to say within the last year, I don't know if it was you or somebody else, maybe from your office or somebody else, came before us for approval for a sign.
It was Jean. Mhm.
Okay, right, it was
She
you.
was on Zoom.
Yes, and thank you. So it was, within this year.
Yes.
And we tabled it because
Yes.
there was a question about the type of lighting that my glasses are seeing.
Right.
Right,
Mhm.
so the new sign, we didn't have a problem with, but it's there. How long has that sign been there?
A long time.
So it was an existing sign that they were asking for approval for when they came before us.
Yes, that's correct, with lighting. But you didn't like the bar because it was black and you didn't like the black.
Right. But the sign had been there and had approval. Because on the application, I believe it said, wait, let me see if I have.
No, I think it actually needed approval. I don't think it had approval.
Okay.
Just so you know, it's from March 25th.
Yeah, thanks.
So, when I was driving by there, I just stopped and I took a picture of the sign, if you can pull it up. So they never came back to us with another option, and
Was it you didn't like the sign or you didn't like the light?
we were unsure about the lighting, how it was gonna present.
Okay,
So we asked for, more clarification and possibly, another option for us to consider. So what I'm trying to do is just a little housekeeping here, Lori.
I understand. And what they told me prior to this meeting is that the board of directors is going to be addressing that in the fall. And yes, and
Because you never came back to us with lighting, so we never approved the sign,
yes.
and we never closed this out.
Right.
So it's still
So
open.
you just need another lighting option. That's all you're waiting for from us.
Well, yeah, so that we, because you don't have approval for the sign
Right.
until we know what the lighting's going to be.
Right, so you'll be approving both when we come in with a different lighting option.
Fall is in 3 weeks.
That's true.
So it's coming up.
I don't know when their board meeting
I just wanted
is.
to bring it up to
Yep,
you,
yep.
that we were just trying to make sure that we're all on the same.
We are not going to come in for the CO, to ask to close this out and get a CO until we have that issue approved by you and a building permit for it. Then we'll close everything out together.
Just a note I have here, it says, looking into whether signage exceeds limits.
Just because there was the awning as well that need to be included on it, as well as the space of the sign. So that was the question about that, counted at the 32 square feet.
So was that ever answered?
No,
Okay, so
It was
that's
not.
part of that then. Okay. thank
and it's 32 square feet.
In
you.
total.
Total.
So I think, and David, you correct me if I'm wrong, on the awning sign, you just basically make a measurement of the actual,
Letters.
letters.
Oh, just the letters,
Yeah.
huh?
And then on the double-sided, it would be whatever that is. Do we need for them to make a modification to the existing,
So it's only for the awning that you measure the letters.
Yeah, I got it.
David, do we need to suggest a modification to the previous application for the sign because we didn't
Yeah,
have the measurement for the awning signage?
Yes, I think that should be, amended to include all the signage that we intend to approve or consider, right? So.
Right.
I
So
don't have to
when
give
they
a
come
list.
back, if we could have all the modification to the original application, whatever lighting they're proposing, and the totality of what their signage is
Yep.
currently.
Yep.
Okay?
But I think they want to get this fence done right away, because it's
Yeah, and I
kind of
understand.
bad shape, so
No,
I'll
I
get those
understand.
questions answered, and then we'll work on the sign after the board tells us what they want to do, because I don't know what kind of light they want to use, an alternative, yeah.
So we're gonna table this.
Yep.
And hopefully you can come back
Yep,
next meeting,
yes.
which I believe.
So I don't know if we get photorealistic by then, I'll try.
Well, it's 2 weeks.
Yeah, but I just got the ones for Black Rock today. So it doesn't happen that fast.
Yeah, September 9th.
Okay,
Okay?
Yep.
Great, thanks, Lori.
I have the next one too, so,
You do?
yeah.
Okay. I'm not relying on my memory anymore. Okay. Fences, walls, gates, and berms, Louise Fisher and Philip Bruno, tax map number 300-20-5-9, 116 Old West Lake Drive in Montauk. And I'm gonna read this into the record and then I'm gonna hand this over to our attorney. This is an application for a proposed new 6-foot wood metal gate, which would be on Old West Lake Drive, and the style of the gate, the design is this. Is this all open? So, yeah, okay. Okay, so, there is a, David, you want to take this over for me? Because you'll be better to articulate what this is about.
Sure. The short version of the story is that you probably don't need to be in front of the ARB because this property is on Lake Montauk.
Correct.
So the yard facing the public street is the rear yard, which,
Correct.
as you know, you're allowed to have up to the 6 foot
Yep.
as of right. So.
So you can apply, ask to have your fee refunded.
Yeah. Okay. We kind of knew that, but for some reason, we thought we still had to come in here and,
Yeah. Well, I'm going to take an opportunity to ask you to relay this to your clients. Old West Lake Drive is a beautiful rural Montauk road. There aren't any houses on the west side. It's a pond and beautiful reeds. There's a little tiny road that goes into some houses, but this is all along Lake Montauk that the houses are. There's not one gate on this entire stretch, and the numbers start at 1 and it goes all the way up to 200. There's a lot of homes, lot after lot after lot. At the very northern part, there's pushed back, there's an old sort of broken up wooden gate, like what's at my house, like a little 5-foot something gate, but there's not one other gate on there.
There was when we bought the property. This was Jimmy Hewitt's old estate, and it had a gate and pillars.
But my point being is that I would hate to see that this becomes a precedent. Once this big gate goes up, 6 feet is a big gate, and especially, how, tight that road is. I would ask you to have your, clients consider maybe reducing it in height. They are allowed to have their 6-foot gate, but for the sake of the rural character of the area, and so that it doesn't become a precedent, and we all of a sudden, instead of it looking like Old Westlake Drive, it looks like something in Los Angeles. So if you could please ask them to be sensitive to that and consider that, I would greatly appreciate that.
The biggest problem they have at this site at the moment is deer. It was abandoned for a while, and the deer made it their home, and they just inundate the property. It's a real issue, and they've had one disease,
That's the
people
problem.
and dogs.
Well, that's the problem all over.
Yeah.
In the meantime, deer can hop a 6-foot gate just as easily as they can a 4-foot. So I'm just asking,
I'll mention it to him. Yeah, don't worry.
it would be a shame if that became what's happening all over town, where it became this proliferation of gates.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Lori.
Thank you.
Hopefully we'll see you at the next meeting.
Yes.
So this is withdrawn?
Yes.
I find that odd. I would imagine that the reversal of the front yard, backyard would have to do with setbacks and all the other things, but something that's actually dealing with the front yard condition or on the road would not be affected by that law.
Well, I think what it is that the code was written at a time where people weren't putting up 6-foot gates, and so therefore there was, David was able to give it to me. There's it talks about if anything other than facing the ocean, any house facing any water, the rear yard is the front yard. And
There
the
is
front
double
yard
setback,
is
though.
the rear yard. Excuse me?
There is a double setback requirement for, accessory structures in, this situation, but
There is.
yes.
All right, so that they are
Which
addressing
means
that
what?
issue, so they could probably would automatically address the idea of a fence as well. I would check in and maybe get that adjusted,
With the,
A little confirmed.
confirmed, yeah.
with the town code, you mean, or with the, I discussed this with the building department today.
So what
With the
are-
people that write the code.
What are the setback? What's a double setback? Does this apply to the driveway gate? And how far
It
back?
depends upon the size of the lot, I don't have the survey.
But in other words, if they have a shed for your lawn equipment, and it's only 10 feet off in the backyard, here it will be 20 feet off the property line. That's the double setback.
So you're saying you think it might apply to something like this?
Oh, definitely.
Oh, well, 'cause it's an accessory structure.
The whole idea of codes is to keep your environment proper.
Fences don't have setbacks that I'm aware of.
I
Well,
think
we're
they
talking about a
do.
gate. John, do you want to look at the survey?
But
So I'm just trying to understand what we're doing.
we're tabling, it doesn't, it's withdrawn.
It's withdrawn.
Yes, withdraw.
So they're allowed to have their
Yes.
6-foot gate where they want it, where
Yes.
it's located on the survey, and it has nothing to do with setbacks or anything like that. I just want to make sure we're all good.
Correct, I was just simply saying that on the dimensional table, it imposes a double setback for certain structures. And
But in this case, no. Okay. Thanks, Lloyd. Do you have anything else?
Nope, that's it. Thank you.
Neil Cohen and Sarah Person, tax map number 300-39-7-8, 71 Camberley Road in Springs.
Okay, this is
Excuse me for 1 second. Hi, are you Neil?
Neil.
Okay, great. Neil, just give us a second. Jonathan's going to read it through.
Okay, this is an updated CO situation. And it's existing gates and a fence that are not approved as of yet. So the gate is cedar and the fence is wire mesh. The gates is 8 feet and the fence is 8 feet. The finish is black and the poles are black and so forth. If we look at the photographs,
So everything's 8 feet.
everything is 8 feet or 7'6". This is
It's plastic.
plastic. We have all the photos. Oh, those are his photos, yeah.
So Neil, hi, thanks for coming.
Thank you.
Our town code requires that anything over 4 feet in your front yard facing the roadway requires ARB approval. And we don't have authority to approve anything over 6 feet. So what you have between 6 and 8 is illegal, and you'll need to remedy that and bring it in within code, and the board, I guess, will decide what height they'll approve that at. I'm looking at your survey, we'll put a survey up now, so you can see what's going on. And so is your entire property enclosed with this 8-foot fencing?
Yes, it is.
It is the whole, all around the whole thing.
David, can you help us just to determine, we know on the front sides, right, can't be more than 6. Can he have 3 sides in the back at 8, or isn't it 2?
Do you say,
What's his right on this? Let's start there. He's allowed to, you know, what his right is.
can have up to 8 feet in the side and rear?
The side mirror, so just one side.
The behind the facade of the house.
Right.
Yeah.
Two sides. Two sides.
So he can have 8 feet
Yeah.
surrounding the
Any
two.
side.
Now, the other thing I believe is that both of his neighbors have 8-foot fences. Is that right?
That's right.
And they, the one on the right side here, I think goes all the way back. I'm not sure about the one on the left. Does it goes all the way back? Is that it? Both 2 fences there or one?
The one on the left side, it's hard to remember because they just built a house right behind that house. I'm trying to remember where one left off and the other began. But that goes back all the way 8 feet, where it parallels our property.
So your neighbor's fence goes all the way. So if you had a 2-inch fence, you'd still have an 8-foot fence there, right? And they're not approved either, right?
You don't know.
I don't know.
So what were you doing, trying to get a C of O in building department?
Yeah, we were trying to get to update the septic system. And
The building department came out and said 8 feet on the front road.
Right, that was, and they kicked us. over here.
Let me ask a question. Where the front plane of your house is, or anywhere by the, you know, the sides of your residence, are there gates there or any other fencing? Or is it just the fencing that's along the perimeter?
There is a gate in the far left corner, which is not used anymore. It was put up when we put up the fencing.
Oh, I see over here, but you don't have anything
No.
like.
In other words, from
the
your house
property.
out to your property line.
You don't have any
No.
gates or fences or anything like that?
Well, I mean, what you could do is put your deer fence between the house and the property line, right behind the line of the front of the house, you know?
And open that.
And open that whole front yard up, have a 4-foot fence along the road
If you wanted.
and a 4-foot gate. And then you'd have a gate, and your neighbor has a 4.5 foot gate with a mesh with it, and the other neighbor's got the 8-foot gate. So, you know, The 8-foot gate is obviously not approved, so he's gonna have a problem at some point.
Is it possible to take that 8-foot gate that's in the front of the house and make it into a 6-foot gate and fence? Would that be acceptable?
Physically?
Yeah, physically, I assume we can replace it.
Yeah.
But it's acceptable to the board.
It's legal, it's up to their discretion.
Well, then you have your entire property enclosed by fencing and gates. And there's no place for any of the animals to roam, they're all out in the street, and it's too much. The other thing I want you to also consider, Neil, is that plastic deer fencing is very dangerous.
It's also not code.
It's not code, and it's very dangerous, not only to, people, but wildlife gets caught in it, and they can't, when they try to get out, it's so, they get tangled because it's so malleable. So it's actually quite dangerous. So anything new that you do, I suggest that you do it in wire or wood. I'm reluctant to approve 6 feet on this. I like Jonathan's idea. Chip, where are you on this?
You're elected to approve 6 foot in the front?
Yeah,
I mean, he's got the whole backyard.
if he puts
enclosed with 8
his
feet
fence behind,
behind the front plane of his
Sorry.
house.
then you're opened up. He still is quasi protected from his neighbors by some.
You have a pool in the back, Neil?
No, we hope to have one someday soon, but we don't have anything.
Because you'll need the fencing back there for the pool.
Anyway,
Right. And what you can do also, Esperanza, do you have anything you want to say?
Well, if this is an existing gate at 8 feet.
yes,
But
it can be cut down physically, yeah.
So you're proposing 4 feet.
I'm proposing 4
4
feet
feet,
all the
and
way
then
along.
do whatever he wants on the side plane of the house, 8 or 6, and then he's not 100% enclosed. And if you'd like, we can table this, Neil, if you want to think about what you want to do back with the proposal. But I don't think you're hearing that we're interested in doing a
It's a very nice street.
A
It's very,
6 foot-
very country kind of street. Yeah.
6-foot fence and gates on the front.
No, I understand that. I'm trying to recall what my options are going forward. So what we're talking about is move the fence, lower the fence to 4 feet or not 6 feet.
For the gate.
And the gate.
Yeah.
Well, the gate is at the beginning of the driveway, so that it's almost like either it's there or it might as well not at the end of that. But
Well, that's fine.
Yeah, if it's 4 feet, then you have that possibility, or you just eliminate it entirely.
right.
How far is the gate from the pavement?
That was yeah, I was going to ask that, yeah.
It's actually less than 20 feet, right?
It's right on the property line, but there's an east, like a right of way.
But your neighbor's gate is even closer to the road. The one
Yeah.
I'm just saying, he's really over the top.
Doesn't it need to be further back, the case?
I think it, yeah.
20.
So the other thing, Neil, is and David, just confirm this for me after I say it. If you were to reduce everything to below, to 4 feet, not higher in the front, you can have 6 to 8 feet behind the front plane of the house.
6.
How far back is behind the front part?
Well, that would be your determination.
So let's say is that,
It's the front facade.
Facade.
It's the
The
front.
front facade,
Okay.
anything behind the trim
Would
at
be
the side of the house.
6 feet, correct?
6 feet high.
Would be his right.
Right.
so let's just, for argument's sake, being as I have 8 feet all around the
Yeah.
three sides. Let's say I say, okay, great, I have those 8 feet, and that's cool. In the front,
Right along the road.
I took everything out except for I have one of those, split rail.
Split rail fence would be ideal.
So I have a split rail fence and I put a little mesh, wire behind it to keep, throw
Keep the rabbits out.
rabbits out. And then essentially, anything in the front yard of the house, or anything that I feel is deer endangered, I could surround with a small 4 foot high
Good.
fence, which might be the least.
Or you can do that, exactly.
Okay. So I think, yeah, if it's okay with you guys, let's table it and I'll come back to you with a proposal. Do you want me to come back with a proposal with drawings and all that sort of stuff?
Whatever you, as much as you can submit would be that we could, help to visualize this.
Sure.
I just, I'm sorry that I'm a little off my game today with the fencing approach. I'm under the impression that you get 2 sides of 8 feet in the back.
Right.
The rear and the.
That's what he said.
Side.
That's what
But
always,
he has 3 sides.
It's a-
Right,
The side yard and the rear.
2 sides and 1 back.
So you have
Yeah.
2 sides and 1 back, he can
Yes.
have up to 8 feet.
Yeah.
I thought it was 6 feet by right, and then we approve up to 8. Is that correct? Yes, we have to approve up to 8.
Yes.
Okay, so I think you're hearing the board would be fine with giving you the approval
For
to
the
keep
three
your.
sides, for the 2 sides in the back?
Right, for the 8 feet, yeah. Right. Okay, and then, which means that anything that if you want to enclose that off of like the side planes of your house, coming to your property,
Right.
you could do 6 feet. You would need our approval for anything above 6 feet.
So if I did little, like wings coming off, wings coming off the side of the house,
Exactly.
keep the dog in the back.
Correct.
So I could do
You could
6
do
feet.
6 feet.
And that would also help me in my pool.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
And then it's
And
metal.
you can do a little, like pedestrian gate in that area so you can get in and out, yeah. It could be really nice.
Yeah, no, I think we should be able to make that work.
All right, so our next meeting is the 9th. So by next Thursday, if by noon, if you can have whatever plans submitted and asked to be put back on the agenda. If not, our following meeting is the 23rd. Okay, and remember, no plastic.
The plastic. What about the plastic that's already there? On the
Well, I don't, again, I'm not in charge of like pool coating, but I don't know if you can do plastic. If you get your
You
pool
can't
in
do
there,
plastic in
you're
pool.
going to have to replace that.
Right.
So you might think about that.
Is that something I would need to do right away to get the CO, or?
No.
No,
Okay, so that's.
but I'm just saying, you're gonna have to replace it in the future.
I hate that deer fence anyway, so if I can, sooner I can take it all down. Yeah.
I'm with you.
Your music to my ears.
Yes, exactly.
Thank you.
All right, so
Thank you all very much, appreciate it.
The middle name is Mr. McGregor. Keep those rabbits out of the garden.
what's wrong with the rabbits? Yeah, well, they need to eat. Okay, David Reef, tax map number 300-156-2-26, 44 Whooping Hollow Road in East Hampton has been postponed. Hopefully we'll see them soon. And then the next is 226 Bluff Road LLC, tax map number 300-172-4-8- .15. 226 Bluff Road in Amagansett, and there's an adjoining property, 230 Bluff Road LLC, tax map number 300-172-4-8.14230 Bluff Road in Amagansett. Chip, who's filling in for Diane on this?
So the applicant seeks approval of a pair of driveway gates and an adjoining pedestrian gate. This is a very unusual property. There are 2 properties that are involved here. One sits right behind the other, and they share a common driveway. Each property is about an acre. Applicant has been before us before, and we asked to reconsider the gates and open them up. The proposed gate sits behind a 50-foot wide scenic easement along Bluff Road, and then there's a right-of-way of 20 feet. So this gate is 70 feet off Bluff Road. The driveway gate is on the land belonging to the rear house, and the adjoining pedestrian gate is on the land belonging to the front property. Even though when we look at this, this is one gate. It's a driveway gate, a post, and then an individual person gate. Proposed gates are motorized, they're Alaskan yellow cedar. Their applicant has them at 6 feet tall. The posts joining this gates are concrete on the driveway gates, and they appear to be wood on the pedestrian gate. Driveway gate's 19 feet 3 inches wide. The person gate is 4 feet wide. we've asked the applicant to open up the gates, and they've done that moderately, but not a lot. I would like to talk about the gates.
We also asked them to consider reducing the height of them as well.
Yes.
Yes, so we did go back to the client, we would like to keep them 6 feet for deer. So I've heard your comments with the previous two applicants. And we adjusted the design of the gate, so the two original gates we designed, the opacity, meaning what you can see through, was 12 and 14% between the two. And we've opened them up to 44 and 48, it's almost half open, between solid and open, looking through.
Well, the bottom part that's solid is 4 feet tall, and the top part, which alternates with these openings, is 2 feet tall.
Correct.
So it's 6 foot, so it's 2/3 of it is solid.
No, it isn't. Look, there's air in between.
There's air
Yeah.
between there and the bottom?
Can I walk over?
Yeah, please.
So this is the 4 foot mark. So this is more solid, but there is openings between each one. It's 1.5 inches. And then up top, these are more open from the 4 foot to the 6 foot mark. I'm not sure exactly what that width is, but
It's
roughly
1.5,
like 7 inches or so between the members up top.
And what are the pillars made out of?
concrete.
Yeah, it's a board form concrete, which is in
And what's the size
size
of the color?
24 inches by 24 inches.
That, you know, that's gonna present, so I know that this is way far back, but it's too much. It's just really monumental is right, 24-inch square pillars, you know, the sliding gate, it looks very penitentiary. I'm just really not happy
Is this
with
between
this.
the ocean and the Bluff
No,
Road?
it's on the north side.
North side.
It's a sliding gate or a hinge gate?
Hinge gate.
It's a
It is
hinge
a
gate,
hinge gate?
yeah. And it's motorized, so they flip open.
So they flip open, and they open in, correct?
Yes.
And there are two of these.
There's a pair,
One driveway gate, one pedestrian
and
gate.
then there's, to the left,
And the-
on the far left, there's a little 4-foot wide
Yeah,
person
no,
gate.
okay.
And that's why,
That's a different problem.
yeah,
Yes, and the property line goes right through that pier on the left-hand side.
what it is, Esperanza and Jonathan, it's a flag lot. You're
I
right,
said-
yeah, oh, I did you just say, I'm sorry,
Don't be sorry.
I didn't hear you say flag lot. Okay. I was just trying to explain how the two tax map windows go.
I'm familiar with the product. From driving that.
And in total, I believe it's the biggest building on Bluff Road by a mile. This compound is much, much bigger than any of those older houses that are on that north side of Bluff Road. Is the back house a house too, or is that something else?
It is, they're two separate
Two
private residences, yes.
Oh, 2 separate residences.
Well, they're two
Legally,
legally
yeah.
separated lots, one client, one.
Same
owner.
number, yes, okay, got it.
Any way you would consider reducing this?
Well, he would like to keep the 6 feet. I mean, we have talked about how opening it more so that it's more see-through. I mean, we do have an alternate design we brought with us just in case. If that's something.
What is,
What's the materials, right?
It is a yellow cedar, which will patina silver over time, and then as the piers are concrete.
what's the house made of?
It's not the same material, cedar and concrete.
It's a new house.
We deal with it all the time.
So really simply put, we omitted the bottom
This is so
portion.
much better. But it's better than the
So
other.
it is, there's no intermediate board, so it's completely open, so see through it, you can enter.
Much better.
He did request to keep the pedestrian gate solid, if that's, we can make that open, we can also make the concrete pier smaller too, that is not set in stone. 24 inch.
It's set in concrete. All right, so, yeah,
I love it at 5 feet, yeah. Adam, you are at this.
Yes.
I just, we find that when we go through this negotiation process, 9 times out of 10, the client actually thanks us for doing this because they just feel it presents so much more neighborly and nicer, and they're happier with something that's not roomy like that.
I understand.
And I'm sure that the buildings that you're building back there are gonna be beautiful. I just really think if this was 5 feet and the pillars were maybe 18 versus
12,
the
yeah,
or
12 would be good.
you know, I think, and I would have no problem keeping the pedestrian gate solid.
Well, I mean, this is a massive piece of land, 2 acres, or more. So, I mean, 12 inches is,
Yeah, that's what I said.
I think it's gotta be 18.
I hate
And
that.
let me ask a question, how wide is that driveway going to be?
Well, the clear opening between the two is 14, just for emergency vehicles, but the driveway's 12 feet. It's the gravel portion of the driveway.
Pretty narrow.
There's 14 clear,
14 clear, so when you open those gates,
14
you
feet.
can get 14 in.
Yeah.
Because you know the fire marshal. So can we ask you to go back to the client saying that we're in favor of this? We can just reduce the height to 5 and 18 on the.
And let the pedestrian gate be solid.
Okay. Yeah, I can do that.
On the second design.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. I think they're gonna be really happy.
Okay.
Okay. Tell them I said so.
So would the process be just resubmitting this and,
Yes,
okay, is you need to get next hearing or?
yeah, for the next meeting, it's the
Sign.
9th.
Okay.
Okay, so by next Thursday, if you could have, call the office and get your paperwork in and tell them you'd like to be put on the agenda.
She would be present for that or?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Unless we're back to Zoom meetings at some point, you know what I mean? We don't know.
Yeah,
Yeah.
take that.
Can we keep one?
I brought the three for each one, so
All
I
right,
can
so
submit right now.
we can leave these?
Yeah.
Yeah, great, then we have them for Jonathan's file and the office file.
No, this,
What? And your file? Oh, Chip's file.
for the 3 designs? 2 copies.
The 3 pieces of paper.
Yeah, that's for Chip's file.
Yes.
That's the original.
There's 3 copies.
3 copies, so I see, all right.
All right,
Not,
All right, thank
not
you,
a
Al.
3rd design.
I appreciate it.
I'll take it.
This is gonna go to Laura.
Okay, thank you.
You good?
Appreciate it. Yes, thank you.
Thank you.
So this is being tabled?
Yes. Greg S. Fisher, qualified personal residence, tax map number 300-172-09-14-120 Hand Lane, Amagansett. Hi, Jeff.
Hi,
How are you today?
okay. I hope you guys aren't too tired of seeing me on this one.
We like seeing you, that's why we keep telling you to come back.
Awesome.
Okay, so what do you have for us today?
So, not much has changed as far as the design, from the last hearing. Looks like the consensus was the design was, acceptable, but height was still a concern. We had kind of teetered back and forth between either just going back strictly to 4 feet or, maybe going a little higher. We started at 6, came back at 5.5. And now I want to present 5 feet exactly.
All right, I failed to read this into the record. So this is an application for a proposed 6-foot gate that is now reduced to 5 feet.
Correct. And pedestrian gate.
Is it attached?
It's on the same drawing. Same design. The other, yeah, there you go.
There it is.
So where's the pedestrian gate going?
The pedestrian gate is going to the immediate south corner.
Is it marked on the survey?
It's on that site plan, actually.
occupancy following first walking gate.
Mm-hmm.
Here it is right
Got
away.
it, got it.
That's 20 feet off the road?
Correct.
So I took a picture, another picture of the house, if we could put that up. Well, Hand Lane, of course, is in the lanes in Amagansett.
Mhm.
Road's narrow, lot of pedestrians. Yep.
Yep.
And so even though it is 20 feet in, it's a very short, right off the roadway, driveway. To the right is another parking area where I think the family mostly parks over on this side. And then that would be for, you know, guests or whatever. When I was on site, I met the owner, and he explained to me that the reason why he wants to have a gate is so that all his deliveries, trucks don't pull into his driveway. So a conversation ensued with Esperanza, I think, right? That most delivery trucks like FedEx, and they don't pull into driveways. You know, they usually just park on the road. And so even if they were to pull in, it's less than, you know, the big trucks hanging outside. So for me, I can't speak for the board. We can hold this for Hand Lane. This used to be 2 separate lots with 2 small cottages on it. It now has a fairly large home with a very large, you know, presence on the street. To put a gate, whether it's 5 feet or 5.5 or 6, I just think it's inappropriate for the neighborhood. And anything that is on that roadway that might present that way has not been approved by the ARB. And I'm reluctant to approve anything or, you know, over 4 feet on that.
Sorry.
Go ahead.
How high is tall is the split rail?
The split rail, I believe, is about 4.5.
And the fencing that's behind the plane of the house?
That I believe
Emulates?
this fencing back here in this back corner. I believe that's 4-foot fencing for the pool.
It's
Right.
4?
Yeah, so picture that.
I think anything taller than the split rail fence is gonna look silly. Hey,
I do believe they're planning on landscaping. Is that split rail fence?
So the split rail fence would be landscaped, so theoretically speaking, you probably won't see it. The sycamore trees, which I think were like 6 or 7 along the front, will remain, but the split rail most likely would be removed.
well, that's the nicest thing there. I think that the lanes are being suffocated more and more. I think it should be a 4-foot fence, something you can do without our approval.
Right.
At the last meeting, we did consider 4.5. I don't know if it doesn't sound like you guys are.
I don't even want to see a gate there.
Okay.
You know, this is a you know, year-round neighborhood type of, you know, environment, you know, to be putting up all these gates so close to the road. I just think it's inappropriate for the neighborhood. And if they want somebody not to be pulling in their driveway, a 4-foot gate will stop them. Chip?
I agree.
Jonathan?
Yes.
And Esperanza? Okay, so this is denied. All right, thank you, Jeffrey.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Oh, boy.
Tough decisions. Howard Kaminsky and Lori Jill Schlossberg, tax map number 300-171-4-188 Holly Way, Amagansett. Chip, if you read into the record.
Applicant is seeking permission to build a revised and relocated set of gates on Holly Way. This is again in the lanes of Amagansett, and this is a road that's not even a cul-de-sac. It's just a little road with 3 houses, and it ends where these 3 driveways sort of come off. The gates would now be 10 feet back off the property line. This is about a half-acre property in total with a house that's under reconstruction. The gate is an open, pleasing plan. Can you show us the plan, Kyle? So it's an open farm-style gate. It's 5 feet tall on the edges where those boards go up at a 45-degree angle, and they're 5'5" posts. Middle part of the gate is closer to 5 feet. It's all made of clear cedar. Gate would be 15 feet, 2 inches wide, and the post would be 11 inches wide. I like the gate a lot. My only concern is that 10 foot off the road is not going to provide enough space for trucks or anyone to pull in and clear the road. You want to talk about it?
Hi, my name is Nancy Marshall. I'm from Fleming and Darrell. Trevor Darrell was here about a month ago. He brought up about the narrow road and emergency vehicles and delivery vans. He brought that to our client. He did agree to pull it back to 10 feet and lowered it. The difficulty is with the survey, he's got a lot of the construction, the proposed addition. Can I walk over there?
Sure.
Is going like on the right side where the driveway and the gate is. So it would be difficult to pull it too far up. So that was one concern, and we were just hoping because, well, it's at the end of the road, so it's not like even if he gets a lot of deliveries, it's gonna be backing up everybody on the street. It's also wide enough, it's, what was it, 15? Right.
But the problem is if a big truck gets back there, they can't go into your driveway. They can't go into the driveway on the left because they have what appears to be an illegal gate. And there's one open driveway sort of on the lower left. That poor guy is going to get all these trucks turning around his driveway because he's the only guy that's opened it up. So the house sits very close to the front of the property, but I think this gate has to go much further back, and it's going to be in the face of the front of the house, but that's the way the property is.
Okay, yeah, well, we went back to the site, obviously, and we just thought with it pulled back to 10 feet, there would be enough maneuverability. I don't even know if that's a word.
From the road?
Yes.
How far back is
10
this?
feet from the road.
The fire marshal.
Isn't this a private road?
Yes,
Yeah.
well, it's a piece of property. That's
It's a piece of
private.
Yeah, it's an odd situation. I don't know, I think Trevor explained it
Yeah, that's
last
why it's
time.
not-
Yeah, he went through the whole,
Right. But the point being, if a fire truck had to pull in there and you have a gate, he's gonna be sticking out in the road. Or any,
So any truck.
He can go right through it if he has
all
to.
right.
yeah, no, I mean, there would be a knock spot.
He's gonna drive right through it if he has to.
But let's say
Sorry, he is.
a big FedEx
I know,
truck
but
gets in there. It needs to turn
an
around.
ambulance.
No,
would,
I
right?
Where does this truck turn around?
Yeah, that's
He
the
can't
key.
turn around in your driveway, he can't turn around in the other driveway, and this poor guy on the left who's not gonna be in his driveway.
It needs to go back
I
as
think
far
it's
as
gotta
it
go back
can.
about 20 feet, another 10 feet.
Yeah, if that, I mean, that or more.
The problem is, you see where the driveway is, and then there's a dark line, an arrow that comes down? That's kind of where this gate needs to be, back there.
Where the property
The
line
property
is.
line is?
No.
So you don't think if like a delivery van came in, they could pull in and just go like that?
I mean, 10 feet is like 1.5 the length of me. I mean, it's shorter than a car.
Yeah,
Yeah, 10 feet is.
it's very tight.
Yeah, I guess we were just sort of hoping, since it is at the end of the road, it doesn't anticipate, I mean. I
No,
know we
but
could've-
there is, to David's point, that they would drive through it, but the fire marshal recommends that there's at least 20 feet distance from the roadway to where the gates are, for any emergency vehicle to be able to pull in.
Right, and you also,
So
they
we
wouldn't have to make.
We're not
it
gonna want to approve something at 10 feet when the fire marshal is instructing us that they need at least 20.
Okay, so, yeah, well, okay, we'll take this back to our client, and then,
We like the design, I mean,
I do, I have no
I
problem.
like the design, we like the height.
Yeah.
So the height and the design are great, you just gotta push it back another 10 feet.
So tell me, are the diagonals in the same plane as the horizontals?
Yes. Of the gate? Yeah.
It looks like the Superman logo.
What? This?
I thought it was
Yeah.
attractive, yeah.
No, I like it.
Yeah, it's
it's
nice.
pretty simple.
It's
It's just like a regular form type of
Yeah,
gate.
I think if this gate wasn't if this property wasn't at the end of the road, you'd have a better case, but the problem is, you get to the ends of these roads and these trucks have nowhere to go.
Well, I just don't even see the point of having the gate at all.
No, actually, I went down one of these roads a couple of weeks ago looking at something, and I have a car that's a lot smaller than the back of a pickup truck, and I got to the end of the road, and I can turn on a dime. I couldn't turn around. I had to back up about a quarter of a mile.
Yeah.
You're not going to do that with a truck so much.
Okay, so I think we'd like to say, please go back and make it 20 feet. And the design, we're favorable on the design.
Okay, so we're just gonna table it for now, and we'll try to get back on for you next, with the 9th.
So, but the deadline is the next Thursday.
Sure, right.
Thank you, Nancy.
Okay, thank you.
Nice to meet you.
You too.
Tell Trevor we said hello.
Okay.
Okay, Carl DeBrito, tax map number 300-171-1-4.2, 38 Windmill Lane in Amagansett. Hi. And you, you're not Madeline?
No, I'm Brian Lester.
Hi, Brian.
Lester.
Nice to see you. Okay, Esperanza, you want to read into the record what this is for and give us a little background? Who's watching?
I don't have the original application.
What's the new application?
I can read the letter, but that's long.
I don't have that
The
printed
last-
out, unfortunately.
So,
So do you want to read it?
last page of the letter states what they want.
I know, but we have to do a little housekeeping first.
I can pull it up on the screen too.
You
Yeah,
know,
why don't you put Kyle pull it up on the screen?
Yeah, this is the new application that they just submitted. I should have printed that out.
38 Windmill Lane.
Is this the new one, Kyle?
I'm not sure.
Is it-
Yeah.
I've been.
Yes,
Okay.
yes. Okay, so Esperanza,
So this application is for a proposed driveway gate with, in cedar with a mahogany stain at a maximum height of 6 feet, for the columns and 5 feet 8 inches for the gate. And the total length or width would be 14 feet.
okay. David, should I rescind the old approval now before we go into this new application?
Yes, you should make a motion to withdraw the approval that was passed and seconded at the meeting on May 14th, 2020.
I asked for that after we have approval, wasn't it?
Theoretically, but I mean, there's this new application, so I mean, we could do it either way if you want.
Do you want to hold
Okay.
on to that approval?
Right, I can't leave here without anything.
Yeah, so, okay, that's fair enough.
The only question I would have for both of you, right, because that's what you do, is the owner, Mr. DeBrito, withdrew that approval. We just never legalized our records for that withdrawal. Does that stand or not stand?
Well, now Brian is, acting as the representative or agent for the applicant, so I would leave it to
Just leave it open?
to his discretion as to whether or not he.
I think we're all on the same page, so I think this is all gonna be semantics at the end of the day, I'm hoping.
I don't have a crystal ball.
Yeah, so, unless,
So I'm willing to let us decide towards the end of the review
Sure.
what to do. Okay, that's fine. Okay. So let's take a look at what Brian is proposing. I'm going to give a little history, Esperanza. Is that okay?
Yes, go ahead.
So this has been before us since the beginning of this year. And originally, they were asking for a 6-foot white gate. The fence builder represented Mr. DeBrito in the first meeting, and then a few months later in May, Mr. DeBrito came back by himself and joined us in our Zoom meeting, and in discussion, it was determined that he would be willing to drop the height of the white gate, the design of that white gate, down to 5 feet. We made a motion to approve it, and a few days later, he called the office and requested that we withdraw this approval, as he obviously did not want a 5-foot gate, he preferred a 6-foot gate. So then they came back before us in August, and we discussed a new design that was proposed, and the board deliberated on the new design, but we never made an approval or polled the board with regards to the new 6-foot height. However, in refreshing our memory with a transcript of the meeting, as well as us reviewing the meeting on our online, we were able to agree with what the transcript was saying and what you had highlighted. However, there was one point on page 2. something about further, when reminded that the board had already approved a less transparent 5-foot white gate in this location, the board denied having done so. I don't think we were ever denied that we had made that approval.
I think that was an issue of semantics, kind of, that the fact there was no resolution that was signed, and so that, you know, technically that's correct. There was not a signed resolution, but it was passed and seconded.
Right, and the board never denied not doing that or knowledge of it. So I don't know what that is, Brian, but I'm just going to let it up, okay?
I think it was, like David said, it was probably, I wasn't at that meeting, Madeline was at that meeting. And so I think it was a matter of whether it was officially approved or not approved. I think that's where it came down to.
It was officially approved, we just never did the resolution because the withdrawal came in right before Derek was going to start preparing the resolution. So, during that August meeting, we asked if Mr. DeBrito would consider, instead of having the new design in white, that he would consider either a natural cedar. Madeline said something about stained mahogany. We all thought that would be better than the white, because the white presents, you know, so boldly, and the house itself is not white. The concern about all of this has to do with Windmill Lane, which is what started the conversation that this is, you know, even though there is a commercial property directly across the street, and he's having, you know, he's suffering through what a lot of us are suffering through, living in a resort community. It is a public road, and people are allowed to park on that road. And this is proposed at 20 feet from the roadway. In past discussions, we asked if it could go further back, because the house is positioned farther back on the property, but because of the decline. So this is what we're doing today, is we are reviewing a new application for this mahogany stained wood gate at 6 feet, 20 feet from the roadway.
Why are you looking at me?
So,
It's a mahogany stained something, or it's mahogany that's
cedar. Mahogany stained cedar.
mahogany stained cedar?
Yeah, and it's the same design that we presented last August, and the board was receptive of it.
Just asking what.
however, one thing that I wanted to also mention is that we did table that meeting so that Madeline could go back to Mr. DeBrito and see if he would approve, you know, our suggestion about the mahogany. So she came back to us in November of last year.
Yes.
And we started out the meeting saying that we would, that Madeline said that he would be okay with the mahogany stain, but we started again reiterating how important it was for us not to, you know, approve a 6-foot gate. You know, it was from the beginning that we were very adamant about that. There's not a lot of gates on Windmill Lane, except really farther up towards Town Lane.
I think too, that's just that what hasn't been mentioned yet is the original approval at 5 feet was almost a solid stockade. Like this portion from here down was solid wood with these parts being open. And so, yeah, the exchange, if I'm not advocating one way or the other, but I believe the inducement for the extra 8 inches was to open this up. And then they had side-by-side renderings of what each one would look like. And you ended up with more
I don't remember side-by-side.
visibility. So they had one that was a side-by-side of 114 Montauk Highway of that design.
Yes.
And then there was, I believe.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Yeah, so it looked, you could really get a sense of, what the board was concerned about and trying to achieve. And it seemed like the little one was, less welcoming.
White and everything, right. So we got further down the road with this design.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yes.
And Brian, I'm going to just say that you sat through this whole meeting. You see, how the board feels about all these gates going up. It's just changing the character of our town, and that is our charge as the Architectural Review Board, to maintain the rural character. Everybody is putting up gates. They're not coming before the board, so I want to thank you and Mr. DeBrito for going through the process and working with us.
but I would love to see this gate at 5 feet.
The issue, and you have the transcript from last time here, is the fact that he's directly across from the hotel, and you need privacy. And with the slope of the fence, what I said last order, once we put it 20 feet back, you've dropped the height of that fence.
What's the dimension?
Down already. Dimension of,
Height, lower than the road.
it drops significantly there. I don't have it.
It's kind of like if we went 5 more feet, it would just, kind of fall.
It's a significant
Do you
drop.
have any pictures? Well, there's a couple other issues that I just want to point out so we can really just wrap our heads around this. Again, it's a private road, and over the winter, there was 8-foot deer fencing and a deer gate in the driveway.
It's been removed.
It's just been removed, but there's 2 posts that have remained on each side of the driveway. And I measured from the end of the pavement where his paver stones apron are, and that is, he's got a 7-foot apron, and then 10 feet to the poles that he left up. And that would only then be 17, so he would still have to go 3 more feet back from the poles. So I was just curious.
Is that it, right here?
He left the poles up, yeah.
And then where would the gate be?
A little bit, 3 feet past where that pole is.
Yeah, there's the ball.
So at the Y?
It goes over.
It's
Shadow?
No, it's just that it's a optical illusion that it looks so close.
Yeah,
It's actually further back. It's actually quite far back.
Wait, but is there like a left and a right road there?
Or that's the way?
I think it's more.
The driveway splits, and this goes towards the, south, and this one goes more towards.
So it's only on one side?
The gate would be before you got to the Y.
Oh, before you got to the Y.
The picture makes it look
I see.
a lot shorter than it is. There's plenty
It
of
would
room.
be 13 feet in past the apron, basically.
Brian, your client is saying that the traffic and the pedestrians parking on this street threaten his ability to enjoy his property.
Yeah, if you want privacy from, I don't know if anyone's gone down the road.
Every week I go by.
It's all cars.
Listen, I mean, you say that, this is a road, we're all living with this, it's the nature of a resort community. No one lives on a resort community road like this one. This is a hotel that snuck in under the zoning. They don't have enough on-site parking. I've been in this property many times. And so all the people who come there are forced to park in the road, and they're now running large events. There's something called Blue Something there every weekend where there's signs on 27 directing people to park on this road. So I really have great sympathy for the client here, and it's a nightmare. There's a hotel masquerading as a residential neighborhood, and it's not a residential neighborhood. It's a first-class hotel with probably 50 or 60 rooms if we counted all the rooms in these houses.
Well, so I will say that the Reform Club, which is the hotel, it does have pre-existing resort motel approval for that one lot, and then the house in the corner of Windmill and 27 is pre-approved as a boarding house, which is a bed and breakfast. It has significantly expanded, and there are, colorable confirmed complaints of traffic nuisance people throughout the summer year. So whether it's stuck in or not, it's certainly gotten the volume has gotten heavier, and I sympathize with this guy. As well.
But the town could reinforce a parking law. If you're putting something in, you have to.
The problem is that is I talked about this with Chief Sarlo yesterday. That is a legal street for parking. It's got a wide shoulder. It's hard to directly attribute everybody that's parking there to the Reform Club. There's some people there that are going to the beach, but nevertheless, there are a ton of cars that are parking there all the time, and probably as the house closest to the Reform Club, this guy would bear the brunt of that impact. So,
Well, let me also say, if we go back to the picture that was up there, please, if you're facing Mr. DeBrito's house, to the right is a Suffolk County
Discharge.
discharge area. It's all wooded. there's a chain link fence, and that the shoulder is gravel. So it actually looks like you're gonna wanna park there.
Yes.
The side of Mr. DeBrito's, property, which is short on the right side, is lawn. And then on the left side is a little bit of lawn, and then he's got a lot of landscaping, right? But he put boulders, if you could go to stop people from parking there.
Yeah, those probably shouldn't be.
That's a problem.
Yeah.
There's a property line.
I don't know.
Yeah, those are obstructions in the town right away. I mean, those,
Right away, all right, there you go.
but still, like, consider the fence, like,
That's this water discharge district, which is Suffolk County Water Authority. We would have many, many more people complaining if those were residences. Because they are silent owners, the Suffolk County Water Authority, we would have 5 other Mr. DeBritos in here complaining about it.
I know somebody that lives across the street from the Reform Club as well, that is, in my office, and they have similar complaints to Mr. Lester's
I
client.
mean, this is a very unusual situation, but we've ended up with a large commercial structure in a residential neighborhood. And I think it's our obligation to, help the residents protect themselves from something they never bargained for when they bought this house.
But really, considering the incline of that property, what is the difference between 5 feet and 6 feet? I mean, really,
Well, it is
to
important.
give privacy.
Yeah.
Why? Because if you have a 5-foot gate and you're going down that hill, and the house is very far back, I really don't understand how much more privacy you're going to achieve with 1 foot more.
Because I have 1 foot higher up from line sight standing on the road.
The average person is closer to 6
But
feet than
when you're
5, so.
standing on the
The
road,
average
you
person
don't
is my
see
height,
the
which is
house.
5.
You can't see the house.
It's over the 5.
I think what the problem is and Esperanza as well, and I don't know where Jonathan is on that, is that from the road, a 6-foot gate presents very large. A 5-foot gate is gonna feel more neighborly, more keeping in character, and we already approved a 5-foot gate. And, because of his situation, I don't think anybody that goes to the Reform Club is gonna scale Mr. DeBrito's 5 or 6-foot gate.
I'm not talking about scaling, I'm talking about observation, line of sight.
But you're making it a transparent gate
entering-
anyway, so is it
At our
see-through?
request, though, we made
So
it
I don't
transparent.
understand.
At your request or,
I understand
and
that.
that's why we came
So-
back, and at the last meeting, in the August meeting, you said you were happy with that design, and it just came down to a color. And we adjourned it for the purposes of.
By the way, we tabled it. I did not officially opine on whether I love the height, because I think it's proven from the very first time this application came before us in February that we were not in favor of 6 feet.
Well,
So I think that was
Yeah, I would-
for me.
just point out though, why would they have come back again when they already had the approval for the 5-foot gate to ask for?
They haven't shown us the color yet. We need color.
No, they had an approval in May.
Well, they
So
came back because they didn't want the
They didn't want
5-foot
the
gate,
5-foot
you wanted 6 feet.
Exactly, so they wanted the 6 feet, so it's not, if they had the 5 still, why would they have?
Well, if he could change his mind,
But when you talk about being neighborly, there's nothing about this situation that's neighborly.
I'm talking about the appearance. I'm not talking about,
I'm talking about the appearance too, but
But it also sets a precedent, so then everybody else down the road all of a sudden is gonna say, well, you gave him a 6-foot gate, and all of a sudden, everybody down that road who's just as aggravated with all the traffic is gonna want a 6-foot gate, and set a precedent.
if we have the permission to give a 6-foot gate, this is an unusual situation where we probably should give 6
And
feet.
I would remind the board too that you have actually authority to, upon a written finding of excessive noise or in exigent circumstances, if you will, you could approve even higher in that location. And so they're not asking for that, they're just asking for the normal.
If not here, then where would we approve a 6-foot gate?
And he's not like every other person on the road, he's the one directly across from the hotel.
Have you been out there on a Friday or Saturday? Have you actually driven down the street and see what's going on?
So,
Esperanza?
I drove down there, I can't remember what day it was right now, but there were several cars
It's always
on
this.
either side, landscape trucks is always
No,
everywhere.
starting Friday afternoon, there's 30 or 40 cars on the side of that street, all day Friday, all day Saturday, all day Sunday, with some sort of blue sign directing people,
So,
get in here.
so David, what is the town doing, code enforcement, to
Exactly.
remedy this problem?
Scattering.
Where's our backup on some?
we are aggressively, enforcing their, I guess, are monitoring what you would say that their permitted activities on the property. We have special event permits that we consider from them on a weekly basis and reject and deny. They've been cited for noise violations. The parking remains a kind of an open issue that doesn't seem to have a immediate solution, and will continue to.
Businesses in East Hampton require, parking. When you build something, you have to provide the parking for it.
Jonathan,
You're missing the point. It's already there.
this snuck in over,
It's already there. This is not.
this snuck in over decades.
And
I understand that.
And
I
there's a bunch of
understand that.
houses
It's
that
been a-
are
it's been a-
related that are now
it's been
a
a
hotel.
simple little,
Well,
it's not something. There is no site plan for it because it's pre-existing non-conforming. So it's not something that has the. They're not before us. We're not in a position to require them to put
pre-existing
parking.
non-conforming is one building, not the whole yard, not the whole block.
It's the two properties on that lot.
Can I just ask, I'm interested in the color stain, what the mahogany stain is that goes on the cedar and what that looks like?
Yeah, it was included in the packet. It's a Benjamin Moore solid exterior stain mahogany.
So
Yes, dash 63.
Just-
If that's not acceptable, like my letter said, he takes a clear cedar.
just to, again, to get back to the written circumstances that,
There's not
upon a written finding by the Architectural Review Board of exceptional circumstances related to high levels of ambient noise, light or property damage from animals which cannot be abated by the landowner, when protection is needed, or of public interest considerations, fencing walls and berms up to 10 feet in height, up to 8 feet in height, may be authorized. And that's not what they're asking for, but I would say that those similar conditions that exist, that the board is authorized to consider in this situation. The ambient
Well, I
noise.
wouldn't consider an 8-foot gate.
No, I'm saying that they're not asking for the 8-foot gate, but those same factors that allow the board to consider that in similar
I understand.
situations are
I
at play
understand.
here in this
No
situation.
one is denying
Okay.
this. My concern is that I don't think that his life is going to change if he doesn't have a 6-foot gate. I think the 5-foot gate is going to present like this, like the photograph. This doesn't look like, like a big 6-foot gate, but in reality, when you're there, it's going to be a very large gate, and it's very close to the road. I completely understand it. I just feel at 5 foot, it would just feel a little bit less bulky and out of character for the area. I sympathize with him whatsoever. I'm not saying that he shouldn't have a gate. He should have a gate. But I just feel very uncomfortable with approving a 6-foot gate with this commercial property that is going to continue, and that all of a sudden that whole road is going to end up not looking like this.
Or it doesn't continue.
Or it doesn't continue.
The proportions between the length of the width of the driveway and the height of the gate, and the way that's done with the very large posts that are slightly higher than the gate, taller than the gate, is
No, I
awkward.
agree with you.
Is awkward and makes it look more aggressive than I think one would want.
They're 10-inch posts and 6 foot tall, and the gate is 5'8".
10-inch, what?
They're 10-inch wide.
10-inch wide.
10-inch wide.
6 foot tall, and the
And the
gate
gate's
is
5'8".
So there's only
4 inches difference.
4 inches difference. Remind the board,
It drops down a little
back
bit.
in last August, Mr. Trusty said, see if the client would be okay if we approve this gate at the height and design, just agree on the natural cedar or opposed to white. That's why.
I wasn't here.
It's
You weren't here, I didn't say anything else because it was tabled.
But the board is the board, and at that time, the members, every person that was asked indicated that, you know, they were somewhat favorable to the new design and the height. At least that's the appearance from the transcripts. I understand everything that's happening now, but I caution you that this seems to be different than what, you know, was said at the August 27th meeting.
And so we obviate all the other previous comments? Just we go with the August one?
That's because it was tabled to come back with a color.
But I'm asking, do we just forget about all the previous meetings where we repeatedly said 6 feet was too
And
tall?
then the following meeting, when they came back with the color, we didn't even discuss 6 feet. It was like, please, we've got to do this at 5.
So why don't we poll the board? I mean, we should tell you that there's a board member not present today.
I will, yeah, you're welcome to table it, and I'll point out.
The only thing I want to mention to you, Brian, is that I don't have a full board until the end of October, because people are taking vacation time, so Diane's not here today, then Chip's gone, and Diane's gone again, and then Esperanza's gone, so it would be till October.
I think it was Diane that said, I think we're giving him his 6-foot gate at the August 27th meeting.
No, and what Brian just quoted me saying, you know, I watched the video.
David, what did Diane say?
She said, I think that it looks like we're giving him his 6-foot gate.
That was in an email.
No, that was on the transcript.
Transcript and also.
I believe Diane would be more favorable on this than what I'm hearing from the present board members.
Well, I can't speak for her, but
I spoke to her. I spoke to her.
Okay, but I was just going to say that I spoke to her as well, and she felt that because we said what we said in August, that we should honor that. That was her feeling.
And that's the point that I'm trying to make, and I'm just worried about exposing the board to future litigation.
I don't care about that.
That's not, no, I'm sorry. You know, I can't continue to make decisions or have the board make decisions under the threat of a lawsuit.
Okay.
When we already approved a 5-foot gate. So, where are we? You want to poll or you want to take a vote?
What would you want us to do?
Poll.
Poll.
Okay. Jonathan, would you approve this gate as presented today? Wait, before we do that, what if we went to a natural and as opposed to this?
That's exactly what I was gonna say. I think that, to make the, fence, less aggressive, if the cedar were more natural, if it maybe had a weathered gray stain or a little weathered look, and it sort of started to, right now it stands out, and of course red is the opposite of green, so they work with each other in that.
I have no problem with leaving it as a natural.
But you chose a red mahogany.
Natural cedar.
So,
Go ahead. Then I want you to answer the poll, because I just would.
I'm not answering the poll. I'm just talking about, you know, that aspect of what you presented aesthetically could be modified in a positive way.
Right, and then also, what if the posts were the same height as the gate?
And the posts would be the same height. In other words, lower them 4 inches. This is 4 inches off the ground, not 4 inches off the bottom of the gate, you know?
Yes, I'm great.
Yeah.
So you're saying change the color and lower the posts?
Yeah.
And then what would happen?
I'm not sure, but,
So that gate would be 5 feet 8 inches.
It would be
It would be 5 feet, 8
And it
inches.
wouldn't be as dark, it would be
That's
dark.
terrific.
And the house itself is cedar shingle. And it would just feel more in keeping, I think, with,
So, would that be acceptable if I polled based on that?
Whatever input you can give me will help me make decisions going forward.
Great, thank you, Brian. You're being very nice about this. I really appreciate your patience.
Jonathan, 5'8", natural cedar.
5'8", natural cedar, post the same height as the 5'8", as off the ground. I would say that would be okay.
Jonathan?
6.
Esperanza?
And that's really only because of the neighbor.
It's all about.
Understood. contributing factor that has to be decided under the town code, and I would hope that you would consider that in this fence or any
I'm
other.
just saying, you know, what it's,
You said the posts are 10 inches?
According to the, according to the drawing.
Yeah.
so, are these electric, they have,
Yes, there's an electric box on
right,
the,
and the electric box is on your property?
Yeah.
Okay.
And the stones go away?
existing curb is still showing.
No, the stones,
No,
the grass,
the boulders, yeah.
Yeah, I was talking to my client about that. I have no, this was first I saw any picture about the stone.
Well, he might have had
I
a
didn't pay attention.
guy come and do that for him.
I mean,
I don't think it's, I don't think that might be a code enforcement thing or.
it's a highway, yeah, that's a highway superintendent thing, but we will,
really? Did you make money?
I could have.
did we finish polling or?
I'm really not for it, but fine.
Look, it's a lot of transparency,
and I would
and it's
approve
gonna
it
be
as well.
weathered.
Wait, I didn't hear what Betsy said. What did you say?
And I would approve it as well.
Okay, so the answer's 4 yeses.
So we're going to make a motion to approve the new application with a 5'8" gate and posts. Posts are 4-inch square, natural cedar.
No,
10 inch
10
square.
inch square, natural cedar. Can I get a second, Chip?
Second.
Jonathan,
Yes.
all in favor, Esperanza?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, so,
It better be 5'8". I mean, if I go out there.
If it's 5'9", you're in trouble.
There is no contract.
permanently,
Yes.
permanent, in the description, permanent.
Well, it's part of our code that we measure from the grade
No,
up.
Yes,
no, the
on all
color,
sides.
the color
Is natural
is
cedar.
permanent. Nobody comes in with a can of white paint 10 years from now. Permanent,
Okay.
In perpetuity.
in perpetuity.
I'll have David write that up. Okay,
Okay.
we're good. Tell Carl I said thank you for his patience, and we wish him all the best.
It's charged by the hour. Wow, that's good for it.
I think that's the toughest application.
Oh, no,
We should have been over done.
after the meeting, I'll tell you this one.
Thank you. Thank
Who
you.
is this poor guy that's been sitting here?
Issuance of certificate of occupancy, 37 Town Line Road LLC, tax map number 300-196-3-1, 37 Town Line Road in Waynesville. Wait, before I do that, sir, what are you here for?
Number 14, 57 Water's Edge.
Okay, we're gonna take you next after this one that I just read in.
Okay, great.
You can jump over ahead. Okay, that's Bronson.
So we're at CO, sorry. That is not in this place. No, it's the last application. Okay, so, this is, I visited the site now, again, and, the generator, there are two resolutions. There's one for the, residents, and there's one for the, generator. The generator is in the location, on the south side of the house. And seems to fulfill the resolution. Forgive me, it's just that I have all of these files digitally, so I'm a little bit lost.
Oh.
I just, in my file, I never, even though I thought I had it, I thought the generator was a modification, but it's not. It's
No, it was a new application.
Yeah.
That's why it was.
Kyle was gonna get me a copy, remember yesterday, and no, I have it.
Oh, yeah.
But thank you, Paul.
Excuse me, Betsy.
Yeah.
We forgot to withdraw the approval from May.
Can we do that?
Yes, we-
Without him here? We'll do
Yes.
that after this, great, thank you, very good.
So this is the residence at 37 Town Line. It's a 7,192 square foot house, and I've reviewed the resolutions. We had an original one from 2019, and then a modification in 2020 where there were several changes made regarding, for instance, administration, and materials used. And I found that the as-built residence substantially conforms to the resolutions.
Did you take a picture?
There are pictures.
Oh,
We
can
can
you
go
see?
through them.
Sure.
I could not find in the files, the digital files, the rear or side elevations, because we had the 2019 files. I reviewed those, and then we did have the 2020 file with just the front elevation. So I basically kind of extrapolated because the fenestration changed. The rear obviously is going to follow that.
Do you think that that was the same issue with the digital company? Like, not supply, when Nora asked for the back files, that they didn't give her everything?
It's very possible. The only difference that I noticed was that on the original plans, this rear elevation, you see the right portion, which is the 3-car garage, and it has a terrace on the top. On the elevations that I have from 2019, it seems to me that there's an exterior staircase. And this doesn't have that. So, and these are earlier pictures. I have later pictures that I took. Do you have those? Because that was still being built, and then I returned there, home complete. I don't know. That's the generator. That's the front.
Wow. There's only 2 photos.
And then the other folder, I think you have more. Okay, there you go. So this is the front, from the front.
Where was the staircase, on the back?
On the back side of this. And I
Did
think
you have
there's
a problem that the staircase isn't there?
No, I think it-
Do an as-built?
Yeah, I think that's what I would just, would need to be
get
sure
as-built
is to have the
plans.
as-built plans. Because I think, everything else they really did, as proposed.
Right. So that's the only outstanding would be the staircase? That
Yes.
is a little different. Okay.
Yes, I believe so. We never went over the lighting on this, house. And everything is there. I don't know if building department will have any issue with the sconces that they chose. That's the only thing, the only other observation that I would make. Whether they're dark sky compliant.
Do they appear to be?
Well, they're open.
Because if you look, there's, in our code, there's like a rendering,
whole-
right,
yeah.
and there's like open lantern-y kind of things that
I
are
know,
permissible, and they're underneath a overhang.
Yeah, so the ones over the garage seem fine, but the ones by the door, I don't know if those are shielded or not.
But it's shielded from the overhang, so it doesn't face.
Well, they're above and they're all across the back. We can look at if you can pull up the rear as well.
You really need to have the spec sheet on those.
Well,
things
we didn't do that in
I'm just saying,
2019,
I'm
obviously.
just saying that sometimes the way it's configured,
Yeah.
even though it looks like it would never pass.
Well, I think then that would be another request then is to get
Yeah.
spec sheets on this,
Yeah.
because the elevations, all they indicated was, client will select.
So what David advised the board from our last meeting, as well as our acting secretary, that unless this is ready to go for C of O, we should table it and ask the staff to get the lighting specs and to get an elevation that's up to date without the staircase. So why don't we do that?
We need to table it again?
Okay? So for the record, I just,
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. It's cleaner.
I mean, it's not gonna change the house being built, so.
No, they really want their CO.
Okay.
It's like they're living.
Yeah, yes.
So we need lighting specs, right?
And that's built.
Do you want the whole set of as-built plans?
I think we would
Because
need
there are
everything.
changes and everything.
Yeah.
all lighting specs.
I mean, it seems like
as
we did,
built
and
plans.
like you pointed out, Nora may have made the request, and the company didn't send.
Right.
Because from every note I could see, we did have a front and rear elevation, but I think we need everything.
Right. And what was the last date of the modification to the original approval in 2019?
This resolution where they modified everything?
What's the
I
date
think
on
it's April 23rd, 2020.
Okay, so this is tabled.
Let's do that resolution.
I know, but I don't want Matthew to have to sit through that. I can do that. Come on up, Matthew. I'm jumping to number 14, Matthew Rudigliano, tax map number 300-83-7-15.1, 57 Waters Edge in East Hampton. Are you Matthew?
Yes.
Hi, Matthew. Okay, and so Jonathan, if you'll read into, I'm sorry, I know, what is going on here today? Chip, if you
Not
could
even
just tell
here,
us what's
trying to get me
going
to
on.
work. I'm not even here. Okay,
I'm
so
not even here.
applicant is seeking a C of O for a recently completed modern house on the water at Barnes Landing. Well, the issue is 3 walls. This wall, okay, let's go back to the first one. This wall is above ground. It shields the driveway from the pool. We asked it to be at 6 feet. It's at 6 feet. Then there are 2 walls, the 2 other walls, down to the driveway. They are all, the one was a little over 3 feet, one was a little over 4 feet. They are in compliance with our resolution. I measured them. I see no reason not to approve this C of O.
Okay.
I would ask the staff to inform the building department that this property is ready for a C of O.
Can I get a second on that, Jonathan?
Second.
All in favor, Esperanza? No. Because,
I think I voted against this.
again, okay. And yes, so you're good to go.
Okay, great, thank you so much.
Okay, so,
Good. Other one, Debrida.
What?
Debrida.
I'm going back, right this second. Okay.
Now you're up.
No, you're good.
You're
Thank
done.
you, thank you. Thanks for waiting. Okay, Carl DeBrito, tax map number 300-171-1-42, 38 Windmill Lane in Amagansett. I am going to make a motion
Withdraw the approval
to
from,
withdraw the approval that was made on May 14th, 2020 for a 5-foot white driveway gate. Can I get a second on that withdrawal, Chip?
Yes.
All in favor, Esperanza? Aye. And Jonathan?
All right.
Okay. Good.
Okay.
Michael DePiero, tax map number 300-197-1-41.2, 372 Montauk Highway in Waynesville, Esperanza.
So unfortunately, it seems the applicant has not shown up, which I was hoping she would. The CO is for 2 items. It's for the changes to the building, which is the barn at 372 Montauk Highway. We've had a resolution for that from, I believe, 2018. Let's see. Yes, April 12th, 2018, where the barn exterior was proposed to be painted, was approved to be painted white on all sides with Benjamin Moore Brilliant White, Benjamin Moore black tar windows, and then the entry door was going to be replaced with a new entry, double wrought iron, black wrought iron glass double door. And so all of that is yes, is in place. Then there's a sign by the road. There it is. And that substantially conforms. The resolution was for one double-sided sign at a total of 30.93 square feet. And it is, let's see. With the vine, it's the untreated cedar, and it has like a custom routing on the inside behind the white vinyl sign itself, which has the lettering in black. The resolution has black and gray lettering. There's some extra lettering that was taped over, but all in all, the dimensions are similar to what is on the resolution.
So what is it now, 24 square feet?
It is, it's a 43 by 36, the vinyl sign, and that's two-sided. Do we count the whole dimension of the
Posts?
the posts and everything as well?
That's not a sign.
No, right, so that's the only. And it's actually a little lower, it's at an 84.5 total height versus the 90-inch height that was in the resolution.
Great.
So I think it's fine. The only other thing that's in the resolution that the applicant did not do is include the LED strip lighting, and she plans not to do that. What is there now, which we're not sure whether it works or not, is uplighting, as you can see right in front of it. There's actually another little uplight right behind this sort of chain thing where it's the open sign. So I told the applicant that she needed to remove that, and she's excuses.
Because she's a tenant, she doesn't own the building.
Yes.
So, is there anything that, besides the lighting, is there anything that you would say that it's not ready for a certificate of occupancy?
The lighting makes it illegal, all right?
The lighting, again, I don't.
No, I'm saying, I understand that, I'm just saying, forget about the lighting for now. Is there anything on this application that you would not approve based on the resolution?
I think, like I said, it substantially conforms to what was on the resolution.
Okay. So what do we do with the lighting, David? Do we table it?
It has to be removed. I think that you have more leverage now holding up the approval based on the writing than.
So we'll let the staff know.
If that had a frame around it so that it hit only the sign.
It can't be uplit. It has to be downlit.
All right.
And so, I think that once you approve and you say, okay, it's contingent on you guys taking that out, that's much less likely to happen after the fact than if we, give it our blessing now.
We're gonna table it.
Yeah,
And we'll instruct staff to notify the applicant that it was tabled because of the uplighting.
Yeah, and that's a town code violation.
Yeah, and again, I mean, whether or not she said that she doesn't even know if it works, but that's neither here nor there.
Right.
I just had a question about, okay, she really has to get back here for the next meeting.
Yes.
Because the resolution is September 13, 2018, and I think then it would be expired.
An extension, yeah.
Yeah, or need an extension.
So the staff should notify her that she's running out of time with her current paperwork, and that if she does not appear before the board next meeting, then she'll have to get an extension of time. Correct?
Yes.
Okay. Now, let me just ask a question. How many uplighting signs lights did you see by the sign?
There's just the one there, and then there's, as I was saying, there's like this ball or massive like rusted metal that has a little open sign on it. And behind that, I noticed
So
another
there's two.
uplight.
And nothing on the building?
I don't, nothing that stands out, no.
Okay. Great, all right, so that's tabled. Jeremy Taylor, tax map number 300-54-3-825 Terry's Trail, East Hampton. Jonathan.
Hi. Okay. This is to approve a gate, a driveway gate. And I thought I had this out. Where's the writing? Well, it doesn't seem to be. Anyway,
What do you need, Jonathan?
the request, the
The
application,
resolution?
not the resolution, the application. What,
No, you need
What
a
is-
resolution in order to,
yeah, I guess so.
do you not have this?
No.
Yeah, it's right here.
So that's the resolution, now I was looking for it. Conditions of approval, all right. Dimensions, height, design, color, materials, location, approved herein shall conform to the approved survey gates and plans. Fences, gates, gate keyboards shall not be located off the premises or in the road right of way. No additional fences, gates, or illumination thereof, the construction of which, approved. Applicants contain,
This is for a 5'4" white painted cedar gate.
oh, it says white painted, because what I had before, it says just cedar, clear cedar. All right,
Well, the resolution, which is what the certificate of occupancy goes by,
yeah.
is, that it's what's
See,
on
here's
the
what it,
resolution.
here's, clear cedar is what it is. Let's see. Yeah,
Well, we did approve of
White
white
paint.
painting,
All right,
and is it white or is it?
It's white.
Okay.
yeah, it's white, that was gonna be a problem. Anyway, so,
Now
so it's 5 foot tall, posts are 5'9". The thing is, it's an automated gate. It's got enormous hinges on that are, that with promoters and so forth, and it swings out. The gate is exactly on the property line, according to the survey, and there's no sign of a keyboard or anything anywhere. And on the right-hand side, there is a wire coming out of the ground and waiting for something to happen. And on the left side, there is a electrical outside electrical box sitting there underneath a rock, maybe waiting for something to happen. So I believe everything from the gate toward what we're looking at is in the right of way. Not, the property line is where the gate is. So anything that goes there is going to be outside the property.
So
So, but there's nothing there. So
it's not only not completed, but can't be completed.
it's set up to be, yeah.
Well, and the other thing is also too, the board approved a 5'4", and you said it's 5'9" on the post?
5'2" gate and posts are 5'9".
No, it was supposed to be 5'4", because if you look at the drawing.
All right.
So we are tabling this?
Yeah,
It's not ready for certificate?
it's not ready, yeah.
Yeah,
It's 5 inches above and their mechanics are off.
yeah, they need to come to the meeting or,
Yes. So rainbow?
Yes, I like that.
Table.
All right, Elementary Beach, which is actually a market as well as a little, food place. Tax map number 300-49-4-25.2, 725 Montauk Highway in Montauk. This was before us, and it was Chip's review, but because I was going out to Montauk to see the house on the lake, I told him I would swing by and do this for him. So, what we have, if we could see my pictures. The application was for a new fold-up window. They had existing 2 double-door entries that they were replacing with a new, like in kind. They were approved to put slats above the small planter area for seating, because they have seating outside.
And the only thing that changed is the seating outside. Everything was supposed to be painted white. They used the existing recessed lighting and just put new recessed lights in there because we didn't want them to do red goosenecks, if you recall. The next picture,
Looks great.
yeah, it's cute. The place is nice, and it's like a market inside. That's the
Very
cedarwood
nice.
slats.
Very nice.
And they did not do the fold-up window. They went with this one because they felt it was easier for them to work with, and there was another reason why. I don't know if it was price or availability. So this is a 4 vertical panel bifold door. So I would think that all of this is in keeping with the resolution and that I make a motion to approve it with the understanding that it's as built with the bifold doors versus the fold-up door. And instruct staff that it's ready for certificate of occupancy. Could I get a second on that, Esperanza? Second. Chip?
Yes.
And Jonathan?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. And then the last one is Juno 9 LLC, tax map number 300-189-6-2.39 Tyson Lane, East Hampton, Esperanza.
So this is again another application for conditions of approval for a number of items. One resolution is from January 28th of this year, is for a driveway gate at 6 feet with 6-foot columns, including a half-inch lead-coated copper cap. And that design of that gate is similar to the gates that are approved at 5 and 7 Tyson Lane.
Yeah.
Take care of that first, please. Yeah, this is from the inside, from the big wall. So the driveway gate is, as built, it's at a maximum of 6 feet, inches, and it's 15 feet 10 inches wide. And we did get a new survey, and I wanted to make sure that all the call boxes was well situated, and I did.
Was this like the first of the gates that got approved?
No, this is the gate, the last one.
But then there were other ones.
The other ones were previous.
Previous.
It was matching the other one.
It was matching the other one.
So this was my assignment early on, right?
Yes, I think so.
Right.
And Peter, I think Peter.
It was
Yeah,
Peter.
This is what they built at our resolution.
Yes.
So we approved this gate?
Back in December 12 or
2 other gates,
2019.
just like it.
Oh, wow, yeah, okay,
On
got
his
it.
property, or lot that he owns.
It's a very well enclosed complex.
Well, how far away is that from?
I wasn't on the board.
It's a horseshoe.
Good.
No, I wasn't.
Yeah.
This land is the Horseshoe Road.
It's a horseshoe road, Tyson Lane, off of further.
Oh, yeah, okay. Tyson Lane.
It's a
I know
very
it,
narrow
I know
road.
it is, yeah.
You're not seeing it unless you live there.
Exactly. I mean, and really it's very claustrophobic driving through there because it's so hedged and gated and fenced. So,
It's the whole interior of this view off of Further Lane, it's the whole interior.
I'm not on it.
Never mind.
Right by the door.
Right, because you read, no, we replaced,
so anyway, so
No,
I
Richard
think,
Meyer, I replaced Richard Meyer.
I think, at 6'2", it's close enough. I mean,
it's like that, carpenters or contractors leeway.
The other resolution is it's from December 12th, 2019, and that is for a shed, a 125 square foot shed that is located on the tennis court, and then an open air pavilion also located on the tennis court, which pavilion measured 877 square feet on the resolution. Barry Bistrian, who met me there, yes, that's it from behind, facing the tennis court, and you see the shed is in the distance. And from the measurements that we took, the shed is approximately 105 square feet, and the open air pavilion approximately 820 square feet. So it seemed to be just slightly below the resolution, which is fine. Everything else checked out. So all in all, I think this is ready for a CO. Okay.
Instruct staff.
I did want to make one comment though.
Okay.
I noticed in the paperwork, there is an invoice or an estimate for the driveway gate. And it has I have to find it. It says, for the columns, custom cedar casings ready for light with custom lead coated copper pipes, caps rather, ready for light. I just want to be clear that this is not going to have any light. Okay. It's not on the resolution, but
And it's not, right, and it's not there, so
And
we
it's not
never
there.
approved lighting.
But it's ready for it.
that's the part that I,
So you should put in the resolution that with no lighting.
In the memo.
in the memo,
yes.
yeah, I think it would be a good idea to do that. Okay.
You gotta do that. Yeah.
Okay, so, otherwise, I do believe this has satisfied the conditions of approval, and I instruct staff to advise the building department that this is ready for a CO.
Okay, are you second on that, John?
Yes.
And that's a yes. What's easier, to start this way?
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
Louis Escadon and Fanny Alvear, tax map number 8 Cedar Street, East Hampton, tax map number 300-101-1-9.
Use a pencil or?
Now you need a pencil.
Thank you.
It's the architect. Kenneth Grant, tax map number 300-196-1-8.1015 Wayne Road in Waynesville. This one doesn't have a space for us to sign, so we just sign next to it. From our COVID days.
COVID days.
COVID days. Anthony Amarato, tax map number 300-95-5-716 Cedar Ridge Drive, East Hampton.
New and improved gate.
Yes, I have it. I'm gonna give it to David. Pictures for the signage? Yeah. And you sent me something else. Did you send that to Laura to print out? I didn't, I just saw that it came to me, but I'll check, or you can check and. All right, this one, Todd Kingsley, you weren't here for Esperanza, so you don't sign this one. Todd Kingsley, tax map number 300-165-5-12.189 Spring Close Highway in East Hampton. And then Chip, you can just hand that back to me.
Are we still live?
Yes. Mandala Yoga and Boutique LLC, tax map number 300-172-12-710 Amagansett Square Drive, Amagansett. You're welcome. I'm gonna make a motion to close the meeting, but before I do, I want to wish everybody a happy and safe Labor Day holiday weekend. Can I get a second on that, Esperanza?
Second on the happy holiday.
And Chip?
Yes.
And Jonathan?
Yes.
Great. Thank you, everybody.